Look, it's a flood.
The flood.
It's flooding.
Get away.
Quick, we need to get to higher ground.
Open the floodgates.
Infuriating anytime that she is trending. Like, there has to be a tweet that says Magic the Gathering players do not endorse
this. No, so in the beginning, when I first heard about her, I was just like, Margarine Taylor Greens? Margarine Tambourine? Margarine Tambourine?
Margarine is tambourine?
No.
Made me think of butter and greens.
No, but it has to be like the biggest thing was
her face looking like Mr. fucking Potato Head, dog. I know we're not supposed to like visually, like, we're not supposed to like body shame people, dog. But her face, like, you know how they used to talk about Shorty from Sex and the City?
Sarah Jessica Parker.
Yes, and how she has a horse face.
Yes.
Like, Marjorie Taylor Greene literally has a horse face.
No, it's Margarine Jamboree. Jamboree.
Can we make her like
there's
female
a
version of Benedict Cumberbatch where we never say his name correctly?
Margarine Taylor Greene.
Margarine Jambalaya.
No, it has to be green. You have to keep it green. We have to give
that
it.
Has to be the
Margarine collard
like
green.
You have Jamboree, Taylor Greens, Chambergines, margarine. Like it has to be a southern thing. You should know this. It has to be a southern thing. That's why I see the you mean
fried greens?
Yes.
All right. Well,
speaking of problematic people.
Well, speaking of non-problematic people, and I have a championship ring to give out.
With 3 in the bottom of 9th inning to become the world champions yet again.
Anything's possible. Anything's possible!
Got a really big team, and they need some really big rings. They need some really nice things. Better be coming with no strings. Better.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Go for it.
Tony Hawk is giving the proceeds from sale of autographed pictures, 100% of them, to the Tyree Nichols Memorial Fund, which includes a plan to build a public skate park in his honor.
Oh.
Okay.
That's dope.
Okay.
Word.
As our worlds continue to grieve his loss, he was a talented skater among other admirable traits. Let's keep his legacy alive.
Yay!
Okay.
I didn't know he was a skater.
Yeah, I had no. Yeah. All right.
You know what?
Shout out to that.
You know,
I can respect that.
Tony Hawk is an amazing human being. Asshole.
Is he on the council with Dolly Parton?
Asshole,
but he's an amazing human being. No,
he never gets recognized anymore.
So I met Tony.
He's one of the most unassuming, like, looking.
Also, everyone keeps forgetting him.
The fact that it's happened so often that it's a meme.
Yeah,
because he's unassuming as fuck.
But also,
one of the tweets I saw was like Nino Brown, the Nino Brown meme where he's crying, and it's like me before I have to take out Tony Hawk in the culture war. And Tony Hawk responded, he's like, I appreciate the hesitation.
Wow. See, I met Tony Hawk when I was sophomore year in high school.
Oh, okay.
So this was during the Obama days, the Blackened days, where I met not only one president, but 2 presidents, because we were both there. And in 2009.
You're 29 right now?
30.
You just turned 30.
I just turned 30.
All right, so I'm like 6 months older than you, which put me a year ahead.
Yeah. Tony Hawk was the first celebrity I met, and I shook his hand, and then immediately asked him, can I touch your skateboard? And he was like, no. You do not have the money and insurance to pay for it as if you fuck this up. I mean, he didn't say all that, but
I was about to say.
The eyes gave it away.
Touch it. Like, I just wanted to touch
I just look
Pause.
to run on my skateboard.
Or
Pause.
this like you cannot
You
damage
can
this.
run off with this shit.
Yeah, I'm gonna run off the White House yard where the barbecue was. It was at the White House with Bobby Flay as head chef and the White House chef of staff. I mean, chief of staff. You know, the White House kitchen, basically. The lead is the lead.
That Hulk ass dude that they
Well,
fucking showed.
well, no, it's not like that. It's just like, imagine 50 Iron Chef quality candidates.
Yeah.
All in one kitchen.
Yeah.
So I had the best chicken. I had the best asparagus, which is why I love asparagus. And
Okay.
and
Shout out
I
to
had
the
the
White House asparagus.
and I had the best mashed potatoes.
As a representative of the government, you're welcome. Also, as a representative of the government, we're sorry.
I got invited to the White House because during the Obama administration, I think they were pushing for young male leadership in high school. So I was selected to be the leader of engineering because we just won a robotics competition.
Okay.
And that year we won regionals. Like we beat the fuck out of Broadneck High School.
What high school?
Broadneck.
No, what high school were you?
Oh, I was Boot High School.
Oh, okay.
Public versus private, and we beat them out.
Here you go. Shout out to public
And fuck Saverna
education.
Park.
Right?
Right, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, fuck Saverna.
Well,
Even people in Saverna Park are like, fuck Saverna Park.
But
Shout
no-
out to Kenny.
But shout out to public school education.
When I
bro.
tell you the white girls of Broadneck were just so heartbroken, we're like, why did we lose to these niggers? And I'm just like,
Oh,
do you
it was an
remember?
outlier
Do you remember the last time I was here? Whenever we talked about something black or very things that you didn't know, you were just like, "I want to say this
Yep.
now."
Yep. Yep. As a straight white American male,
So
I walked into class one day last semester, and it was my podcasting class, and I'm like, "Hey, it's your favorite straight white American opinionated male," and she's like, "The only one?" I'm like, "No, but I'm here."
we're problematic. Speaking of problematic,
I
Zachary
was gonna say
Levi.
two things you and Zachary Levi have in common.
Problematic. So what's wrong with this man? His man looks
Straight
sexy.
white.
He looks sexy. I love his like.
You like Shazam?
No. I look.
Tony
I'm-
Hawk. We were talking about Tony Hawk.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I just want to make sure that I gave a shout out in a championship ring to Tony, because
Yeah.
Tony
he
is
looks
has been a
humanitarian.
continuing to keep himself like in the positive spotlight and culturally relevant, whether it's through the meme that nobody recognizes Tony Hawk or making the skateboard with blood in it.
Not
Collaboration with Liquid Death.
Yep.
That was fucking awesome.
Not
And-
Tony Hawk Pro Skater. Not
None of those games.
But we also want to give Tony, or I want to give Tony, a championship ring also for Tony Hawk Pro Skater, in addition to all of this.
But we are not giving a championship ring to Zachary Levi, however.
After-
who, it turns out, is not Shazam. I mean, he is
Shazam?
Shazam, but I don't know if Shazam would be okay with anti-vax propaganda.
I don't know
Oh.
if the Flash would be okay with him being portrayed by Ezra Miller, but that's still a thing.
Right. So, like, Zachary, how do you...
You think Zachary's gonna listen and watch us?
How do you deal with Ezra Miller as a co-star, right?
Easy.
Easy.
James Gunn is their boss.
And James Gunn does whatever he wants.
But even before James Gunn was their boss, Zachary Levi was a transphobe. So when Ezra
know what?
Miller shows up on set with painted nails and, demanding to be called they and a genius.
You know what though? I have an answer to your solution because I'm the engineer. I have one word. Ready? It may shock you. Money.
No, but we talked about Ezra Miller and how they are using the whole trans thing basically to weaponize even more like privilege or ways to.
You sound like Zachary Levi right now, right? Like he feels like, he's one of them people that just feels like, the whole trans argument is really just subversive in nature, and it's like a mental illness. He's been on the Joe Rogan podcast.
I'm nothing like that. I'm
crazy.
Just like, let me know what you want. Just let me know what you want me to call you, and
I respect that as a call today.
And I may make mistakes, and I'm sorry in advance.
I mean, so the whole turf thing, because coincidentally, the latest Harry Potter game just came out this past Friday.
I've heard it's fucking incredible, and black people are like eating it up because they're like, we can actually have like black people hair in this game.
But the problem is also like not only is just JJ, not only she's there, but like the message of the game is like anti-Semitism.
Oh, the game is?
The game is anti-Semitism.
I don't know anything about the game. I just know it's like
it's anti-Semitic
people get to be
and
in
about
fucking Harry Potter world.
Yeah, it's that.
Okay, so break it down.
So Harry Potter Legacy, the legacy of the Wizarding World, is both problematic in two fronts. One, it's by a famous white woman who obviously
is notoriously
transphobic and just believes that,
she's a TERF.
I do want to step in.
Okay.
I want to step in here with separating the work of the artist versus the artists themselves, because
and that is something we will talk about right now.
J.K. Rowling doesn't want to.
She has no input on the game, and clearly there were hundreds of people designing this game.
She did retroactively make Gandalf gay as fuck, though.
Gandalf is by Tolkien.
Tolkien.
Damn, I said Gandalf.
He said Dumbledore.
Right. She did, however, retroactively make Dumbledore gay as fuck. Right?
Yeah.
He's not as fuck. He's just gay. He's just gay as old. He's just gay as old.
But the goblins that run the Bank of Gringotts, they're definitely just goblins.
They're definitely the ones, not Jews. Who cares about the Jews? Ooh, this is how I get canceled.
This is how J.K. Rowling gets canceled, right? Because she already came.
We are talking and putting her name, and all of her controversy in context.
Yeah, because that's
what we do here,
right? And that's the thing, though. It's just so you have multiple the people who make the game. I forgot the studio's name. They already have announced that we've been paid out.
Right.
We're done. We don't touch this game. We did this thing. It was a contract. We're done.
They were given the script. They were given the blueprint. They just fulfilled their duty.
So, they got paid. They are paid out. Right. Anything outside of this...
They did what their contract said they would do, and nothing more.
Right. They did what they did. There was a paid job. They're done.
They told us to make the goblins the bankers, and we didn't think any more about it, right?
Right. And so there's multiple arguments that I've seen throughout multiple gay spaces that boils down to we don't support this game because of the author, and you brought up about separating the artist from the art, and that is
a big thing here, and with our phrase the work of.
Right, the work of. I have a hot take. You cannot say the line unless you're dead. The artist being dead, because a perfect example. Michael Jackson.
I saw a very problematic meme where somebody, the Slavic friend, was telling me that they wanted to get a shirt. Mm-hmm. Oh my lord! Keep talking while I find this shirt.
That's fine. So, the thing about my hottest take is when you separate a work from an artist. Right. Generally speaking, they're dead. Why? Because they can't defend themselves when they're alive, or when they're dead.
I forget that he's alive, honestly.
How do we reconcile the Cosby Show then, right? We have to reconcile it as the work of Bill Cosby, right?
Right.
And with the recent Tory Lanez verdict. How do you
I'm sorry, but that man has the worst fade of all time.
He does.
He has terrible PR.
No, he has terrible PR,
terrible hair,
terrible hairline. He has a terrible haircut in general. But the man makes fire music, right? It's like Chris Brown, right? Chris Brown makes fire music. Breezy was a fire album. Do I support Chris Brown as a person and his stalker-ass tendencies? And his
Wait, hold
abusive-ass
on, what?
tendencies?
Yeah, he became a stalker now?
Did you not see the whole him and Karunchi thing? Like, Karunchi tried to leave this nigga in the dust several times, and he was like, bitch, you not gonna forget about me. I'm Chris Brown. Watch me do a backflip on Vine.
He's a backflip on Vine.
I found the shirt.
This is the nigga who tried to fight Frank Ocean.
I found the shirt. So, keep in mind, this guy is Eastern European. So, like we said, not to be fucked with.
Yeah.
But he showed me this shirt that I wanted to get, and I said, if you wear that in America, you're probably getting your ass beat.
Yeah, no, he's actually beat. I don't
know if he would get his ass beat for that.
But he definitely will be looked at.
Yeah. You might,
so, for our audio listeners, it is a picture of E.T. and Michael Jackson with the Alien vs. Predator font over top of the picture.
Relating back to people who are TERFs, it is a very difficult... In Zachary Levi. It is, the first time I heard about this, so this is awkward. But I also have... I've heard the other sides of things from medical professionals, which also scares me. I slept with a medical professional who thinks that TERFs is a mental disease, and while we were...
TERF is a mental disease?
People who are transgender have mental disease.
Okay.
I've heard that argument, and I will not regurgitate that to the audience because it is.
I don't have the credentials.
It's just like have you ever had pillow talk? Do you know what pillow talk is?
Yes.
Feel like that was my pillow talk. Imagine doing pillow talk with somebody like that for 30 minutes.
Yeah, and he's like, honestly, I really feel like transgender people are kind of like on the same level as schizophrenics. And I'm not saying that I don't think they're not people, but I think they need help, honestly, because it's really like a mental problem. Like, you think you're somebody you're not. That's an issue, and you should really be seeking mental. And that's why.
I don't get it.
Mm-hmm.
Let me know what you want to be called. I'll do my best, and I might make mistakes, but I mean no harm.
As somebody who is very engaged in the community and also is a safe space counselor for that community, it is very important that when people are learning about themselves, because either they've been traumatized and never know what the term is because nobody taught them because they don't have the education, or two, they're finally coming to terms with themselves and now they're trying to come out, but we opening up and be vulnerable to people like to grab that shit and turn it against you as a weapon. So it is very important that when somebody who's special...
Fuck tea, he needs Henny.
We need moonshine, which none of y'all have. Whenever somebody
Give
wants
me 3 months and an empty bathroom, and I got you.
I got moonshine at the house, and I didn't want to bring it because I didn't want to accidentally die. When somebody wants to come out the closet, and it's very important to be a soundboard. If somebody is going through that experience, I know friends who've been through that experience, and it's a very important thing, and that's just kind of how I see things. And whenever they say, this game actively hurts us, and I'm like, why? And they explain the reasons, that makes sense. Now I support you. And that's kind of how I see things as. I have seen the arguments of but I love this game because this thing has helped me going through stuff. Because I'm an engineer, I can kind of break apart the emotions with the function. Okay. If it may not make sense, but I'm going to try to make it make sense. So let's say that
we're all about making it make sense.
This is the whole thing about it. So, all right. So imagine
here we are.
So imagine you were playing. I say yo-yo because yo was the first thing that came to my fucking mind. Imagine playing with the yo-yo. Right, you loved it. It was a thing that was your escapism. That because whatever your upbringing was, it was not pleasant. So you took all that energy into this tangible object, that being a yo-yo. Because this yo-yo got you through the worst of times, the darkest of times. but it's a yo-yo.
That's me in Final Fantasy VII.
And so now that you're older, you found out the person who made the yo-yo hates black people.
That's how I feel about Sephiroth.
We talk about that all the time on this podcast, right? Like, that was the whole point of fucking Lovecraft Country, right? Like, I addressed that in the very beginning of Lovecraft Country, right? And it's something I have to address every time I'm like, I love Lovecraftian horror, right? Because
they present you with the situation that Cloud is a terrorist at the beginning of the game.
And Lovecraft was a scathing racist.
Yes.
Dog, right? Like,
Just like Final Fantasy VII was a scathing commentary on capitalism.
And so was, like,
You just hit
Scott
Final Fantasy VII.
Fitzgerald. Yeah, like, anything in America, right? Like, anything you look at in America as a black person, you're like, is there racism behind this?
So, and that's the hard thing. So, imagine you growing up with something that helped you through the hard times, that now you found out that the manufacturer does not support you as a person because they think of something. And that honestly is the hardest thing in that argument is when to stop fixating on this object and really addressing where this obsession came from. Because I think a lot of escapisms, as somebody who, surprise, surprise, I have depression, but I finally got out of it. Because we're millennials and our parents are our fault. No fault to you, mom or dad. A lot of things that, our generation is understanding, what is it? Like, this object, this thing, like, what is this called? What is this thing? Because, back in our parents, ADHD was never a fucking thing. People just assumed it, like, oh, you're just naturally smart and do the thing. That's what it is, I feel like now, is people who they latch to this thing because that's what their escapism.
There's a label for final.
This is something that is a question to both of you. We can use classic examples that you and I have used. We can also use J.K. Rowling. Mm-hmm. When we're trying to separate the work of the artist from the artists themselves, is there basically a threshold where you have to recognize their ideology bleeding into their art?
Yes, I think so, and I'm going to use
absolutely.
I use that. Yeah, absolutely.
I have talked with Lord God about this on multiple times with Kanye, and we both go,
no,
but he made Graduation,
right? No.
So even taking that into account, right? You still have to, at a certain point, when it comes to the idol worship of a person, have to take in their ideology, right? And it's at what point do you separate their talent from their ideology?
I think there comes a point where once it becomes recognizable,
once their work becomes propaganda and less content.
Yes.
So,
or if you can see their
Shazam
ideology now shaping the art.
Do we feel Shazam is turf propaganda?
No, because it's always DC property. Justice League's
written by other writers. And
So,
follow the script.
Clearly,
Right.
I was fucking joking.
But
no.
that is the point. We were able to just disarm that joke immediately.
You're talking to a person with Asperger's. Do you really think that's going to work with me? No. I'm just going to prove to you why it's fallacy, and it's going to give you the fact
But I
straight.
mean, how do we feel?
That's always been funny to me. And from what I've heard, most people with Asperger's agree. It's just like,
It's kind of Asperger's. Continue.
How do we feel about Shazam?
So,
being allowed to continue, and the same thing with Ezra Miller, right? Like on the same spectrum.
So,
how do we feel?
My personal things about that.
It is not hard to cast a young white person who happens to look male
I think,
as any superhero. It's not fucking hard.
It'd be funny if Andy Milonakis makes a return as the Flash. I know he's a little bit too fat, and we're not fat shaming.
That would be a body positive way to tell the Flash story.
Part of the absurdity of it all, right? It's like
I mean,
casting
Fat
somebody-
Thor.
Oh, the Fat Thor. I mean, immediate. Oh, Fat Thor. Gay material. Gay daddy icon of that year. Top 10. There's a list of gay icons in every year. Kratos is always on the first. Kratos is always top 10, especially this past year
I
with
started
God
playing
with
2018 recently.
Yeah.
And I really like. I'm still really early on.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I'm at the part and I'm like, oh fuck, this game is hard. I have to fight some big fucking Dothy and a troll. Like I'm fucked up right now. But like I'm watching his interactions with Atreus and I'm like, oh man, he's really harsh on Atreus, but I can also see his love as a father coming through with every interaction.
Yeah.
As a
he's-
father, I felt it.
Yes.
As a father, I felt
felt
it.
it
As
too.
I played through, I felt a lot of the teenage angst.
Again,
Other-
boy.
Yes, again,
Again, boy.
Right, the preteen angst that shit was displaying, right?
And like the one
And,
line
like,
that really hit me, he was like, "Don't be sorry, do better."
Right.
And I'm like, "Yo, this guy loves the fuck out of his son."
Tell me you're Catholic without telling.
Can't drink to that one, Bob. But back to the whole. But back to the Justice League scenarios. I think that
the
I think
League debacle.
I am hoping at one point Kratos laughs at a joke Atreus says. Like that's all. I hope
That's how he
Atreus-
dies.
I
That's
hope
how he
Atreus
dies.
tells a joke.
That's how he dies.
They have bonding moments. Let me just put it there.
When you play Ragnarok, there are moments of like that.
There are moments during the one you're playing,
Not the original one. Oh, the
2018.
2018 version. Yeah.
but as far as the DC debacle goes, right? Like, and you know, even Lucasfilms had their whole thing with what's her name from
I don't know her.
Oh,
latest movie, her
the-
latest movie literally made
Gina
130
Carano.
Gina
something.
Carano from
Her
the
latest movie
Mandalorian.
literally made like $130 something
Yeah.
total.
So, like, you know, I guess
Terrorists don't get far in modern America. The end.
conservative celebrities are a thing. You know?
They are. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought they were just evil robots. Continue.
Pushing the gay agenda.
And apparently,
I am the gay agenda.
you mean like The Last of Us?
I have yet to watch that episode.
I've seen the IMDb ratings, and it's still funny to me that they try to just bomb the ever fuck out of that
One
episode.
episode.
But like, it's now just did the opposite, where
I've heard
just
it's
5 stars
like
all
I said,
across the
I
board.
haven't watched it yet.
Yeah.
I haven't had HBO for the past literally 2 weeks. Probably a month. I watched the first episode of Last of Us here with you, but like I've heard nothing but rave reviews. They're like, this is literally one of the best love stories you can be told in 45 minutes, an hour.
This is probably the same level of Game of Thrones when it first aired. No, I'm talking about in terms of people talking about it publicly. Because when Game of Thrones was on the air, everybody was talking about it. The bus stations, your workplace, the bank, your partner.
We had a poll at work to see who would end up on the throne.
When's the last time before Game of Thrones you had that experience on a TV show?
Like pure monocultural like that?
Yeah, pure monoculturally, just like that. I can't think of one.
Squid Game was pretty.
Squid Game was. But
said
I mean, Squid Game came
before.
after.
Yeah, Squid Game came after Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Squid Game was actually
You mean-
2020.
Yeah. So you mean before Game of Thrones?
Let's talk about Game of Thrones, maybe Big Brother, but like
No, not for me.
The Bachelor.
The Bachelor was another one.
I would say, for me, honestly, something like Jersey Shore.
Jersey Shore, I feel like was
Jersey Shore was-
probably up there, but it was bottom tier though.
Like, all right, you have to have a South Park episode made about it.
Well, that's their formula, though.
Yeah.
That's their formula.
So
I mean, Real
if you have a South Park
Housewives-
episode made about it, it probably is culturally relevant.
Right. I still can't.
That's a pretty good rule to follow. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, it's accurate.
So
they made a whole episode about
that
school shootings and tied in Red Dead Redemption 2.
But by that argument, if they don't make a Last of Us episode, then is it culturally relevant?
You're telling me that South Park isn't going to make a Last of Us episode?
Are they?
Remember,
I'm pretty sure they're going to be
now,
they're going to have some nuclear event happen, and Cartman's going to be like, "No, I can't watch the newest episode of The Last of Us."
So it's like, I think this season, because they're still going, there may not be one, but the next 2 seasons definitely will be one.
I think they definitely.
Because
I feel like
Family Guy has not touched it, and
didn't they sign a literal $1 billion contract with Paramount?
Yeah.
We covered that. They signed some absurdly huge amount of money contract.
You're talking about South Park.
Yeah.
Not the last.
No.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about South Park.
Yeah, no, South Park. Yeah, no, they
got paid like a literal $1 billion.
It was close.
For a team of what, 15? Maybe 30?
Dude, it was for like an
Coming down to
it
South
was
Park,
like 30 movies.
Time. Do you know what they say?
It was like for 30
Yeehaw!
movies.
Friendly faces everywhere.
Humble folks
without temptation. Coming down South Park, gonna leave my friend behind.
So
ample parking day or night. People yelling howdy neighbor.
No, it's just another Cal's a bitch lyrics, and that was basically like, wow!
Completely aside. Do you remember the cow level in Diablo 2?
Oh my god.
So in Diablo 2, they had like this hidden area where you could get all of the best weapons, but there were a bunch of cows with pitchforks and axes and everything that were like ungodly powerful that would follow you around.
Why are these cows powerful? Speaking of power...
No, they're not. They're not purple. They're just giant fucking cows.
You said they're powerful, though.
Oh, powerful cows.
Yeah, but why are they powerful? Speaking of power, what about Texas?
Thank you. Speaking of cows.
And power.
And power, in the same sentence.
And in that level, everything was on fire, like Texas.
Except for Texas is not on fire. Texas is actually frozen.
The opposite of fire.
Texas is so cold, in fact, hundreds of thousands of people are without power or were without power due to
Did you get on that Ted Cruz?
Frozen power lines.
Shout out to Ted. We haven't said anything too bad yet.
So much so, in fact, that fights were breaking out at grocery stores over dumpster meat.
Dumpster meat.
More than 250 people fought over discarded food in dumpsters after power outages last week in HBE grocery stores in Texas were alerted to authorities after social media posts were made about them having to discard certain food items, perishable food items, because of the power outages caused by the frozen power line.
So these guys are going to the dumpsters and using rubber their meats together, and I'm sorry, I'm just a straight man that I don't understand. Somebody
who worked at one of these HEB grocery stores posted online, "Hey y'all, we gotta throw out all of this meat. Come get it."
Somebody was not forward thinking and just put it. Somebody was not forward thinking. I just put it away. Not the camera couldn't see it.
No. So what the problem here is, though, right? Is the food regulations and stuff like that. That after a certain point, you have to after a certain temperature. I think it's over 64.
Outside room temperature, probably. Yeah,
something like that. You have to throw the meat away, right? Regardless of what the issue is.
Yeah.
So even when the power goes out, you have to throw the meat away. And somebody who worked at this HEB grocery store was like, "Hey y'all, we gotta throw all this." food away. Y'all gotta come get this shit out the dumpsters, right?
Boom! Cutting in. Is that a soft move?
Or a boss move.
Boss move?
Moving on, it's time for soft move or boss move.
A boss move to take meat out of a dumpster?
A boss move to tweet out
Oh,
that you're throwing all that meat away.
I would say it's a boss move.
Boss move.
Because,
It's just kind of...
like, the problem is, when it comes, so, I actually just talked about this to a friend at the park, just about, throwing things away from Starbucks. When it comes to perishables, I think we have to take them a little bit more seriously because of the bacteria that can be manifested from meat. So meat is, so it depends, and I'm saying it depends. It's kind of like the Doctor Who skit where like, would you throw dildos at a festival? It's like, well, it depends.
That's a Doctor Who bit?
It's like, well, it depends. Am I at Pride? Yes.
Britain really is different.
If you're at Pride, yeah, I probably might throw dildos. But am I like a Catholic festival where like I'm celebrating the Pope? Probably
Personally,
not.
I would throw dildos at that festival. I don't know. This Pope said weed is cool and sex before marriage is encouraged.
And also, gays are fine.
That doesn't mean he gonna grab a dildo and just shake it for the congregation.
You know what? Here's the thing.
Yeah.
He's probably the only Pope that knows what a dildo is.
That's true.
That's no.
And would you say that
absolutely-
knowing what a dildo is better than not knowing what a dildo is?
I absolutely argue that he is not the first Pope to know what a dildo is. He's just the first
hold
Pope
on,
to
look,
admit
I had this argument
Oh no.
when we were talking about Magneto,
No,
and
here we
Magneto
go.
being
No,
a Holocaust
this is
survivor,
why-
and
this is
people
why
were
we haven't
like,
gotten through half of the docket yet because of your outrageous tangents.
To be fair, I did contribute to these tangents because
I contribute to them too, but the point is that he has enough of them. It's fine because he has to edit this episode.
that's true. We can. I don't work tomorrow, so
I am
can
Catholic, so I am used to beating myself up.
It's all about context. Perishables, I understand the safety regulations, so I'm.
Right.
It says but like at the same time, like I know bread gets thrown away like so
But
fucking
this
much.
dude tweeted it out beforehand, so they're like, look, you can come get it within like this couple hours window.
No.
Here's how you. No, this is how I would do it. All right, I'm gonna use it as a rest. So if I'm the manager, right, QA, and I was told like all these meats gotta go. I'm like, okay, put it on a tray. Go out to the dumpster. Get as far away as you can from the camera because we all know that they're fucking watching. Dump a fake few amounts. Put grab garbage bans.
Make it look good.
Make it look efficient and promising.
All right,
And
this sounds a little Monday morning quarterback.
No, but here's the thing though. This is how you be smart. Be efficient. Be smart.
People were fighting over
Meat.
expired meat because the power went out and
250 people. Can
Could you imagine that brawl?
that's more than the Josh fight.
Listen.
But the best Josh won.
Imagine hanging out in the child line, and you got to fight. That was a good days reference.
A good day. Good day.
Good time.
Was
That
it
was a
good
good times
times?
reference.
Good times.
Imagine hanging out in the child line, and you got to fight 250 people for dumpster meat. My nigga.
I'd rather just go with the League of Extraordinary Exes and just deal with the 8 of them. I'm going to be.
You know there's somebody in there that's just like, I was playing God of War. I got this.
I'd rather be the Scott Pilgrim. I'll just deal with it.
Somebody walks out with a fucking bow staff, and I'm like, you know what? You got it, bro.
That's how dystopian this shit is getting, right? Like, you had that this week, you had that whole debacle where the senator or whatever was proposing that program where prisoners could donate
they're donating organs
for time off.
Hold on, I have the follow-up.
Oh, speaking of.
Go ahead. Go for it.
If we're talking about power outages in Texas, maybe I should mention a spark to the Dallas Mavericks, because about 3 hours ago, Kyrie Irving was traded. Kyrie Irving, modern American philosopher, was traded to the Dallas Mavericks after making a trade request literally yesterday, which makes me think the Nets were like, finally, get the fuck out. And now it makes everybody think like, oh, Kevin Durant is left like Will Smith at the end of The Fresh Prince. So we're all thinking about where the fuck Kevin Durant is going to end up. But the other thing is Kyrie Irving going to the Dallas Mavericks with Luka Doncic? It is a really good performance booster, but he's going to drive Luka and Jason Kidd. And Mark Cuban's so angry, which makes me want to watch the next season of Shark Tank.
That's a full gambit that you just did right there.
It is though.
You just full.
Kyrie, Luka.
Not to mention the things that were traded. So the Mavericks sent Spencer Dinwiddie, who's having a good season, Dorian Finney-Smith, a really good three-point shooter, a 2029 first-round pick that is unprotected, and a 2027 and 2029 second-round pick. So the thing with that first-round pick being unprotected...
What does unprotected mean? Because I'm thinking
unprotected means that no matter where it falls in the draft. So say the Mavericks... This is what I was going to explain. So say the Mavericks in 2028, 2029 are terrible.
Okay.
And they get into the draft lottery. And they magically win the lottery.
So they're first.
Well, guess what? The Nets get that pick. Unprotected, which is common in NBA trades, is they'll be like, we'll trade you our first round pick as long as it's not in the top 5. So unprotected picks are like gold, especially when they're this far away to where you can't tell what's going to happen with that franchise. Kyrie is a free agent at the end of the year, and you have no idea how long Luka Doncic is going to be happy. I think by that time his rookie contract extension would have even ran out.
Okay. So you're saying what is the point of this trade? Right?
Well, the point
what
is,
kind of system does Kyrie think he's building here with this trade?
his fucking own.
I mean, he's a free agent, like you said, so it can.
But
Right.
trying to predict Kyrie Irving
This far out.
is just in general about anything.
So what do you think is the point of the move to the Mavericks?
For the Mavericks?
That's such
It's
a
the-
random team for him to...
For the Mavericks, it's to try to steal a chance at a title.
Oh, he's a title chaser.
Well, no, he's a title difference maker.
Oh.
Okay.
The Mavericks are a really efficient offense, but that's because Luka Doncic. He had a game where he had 60 points and 20 assists. You do the math, he's responsible for 100 points in that game.
So are you insinuating that Kyrie thinks he can fill in the blanks here with this trade?
I feel
At
like...
a point, is this a soft move or a boss move?
Right. Right.
So, Kyrie forcing the trade after
I
he's
feel
been
like
going on a
that's
tear while
that's a
KD
boss
is injured before the All-Star break?
That's a boss move. I'm sorry.
Boss move.
Like, if we're looking
He's
at
tanking the entire Nets season.
if we're looking at it
And
from
bailing on
Kyrie's-
Kevin Durant.
If we're looking at it from Kyrie's perspective, though, it's a boss move to be able to force that kind of a transition in the amount of time that he forced that kind of transition, right? Like that's a total boss move. And you may say, "Oh, that's just the Nets being tired of dealing with Kyrie and the drama," right? But what kind of numbers did Kyrie bring in with this trade?
All right, so I will say that Spencer Dinwiddie and Dorian Finney-Smith are well, Spencer Dinwiddie is a starter. He's a starting guard.
Right.
And Dorian Finney-Smith, if he's not a starter, he's definitely a rotation player, which means he's in, like, your top 8. So when you're swapping your starters, you generally only have, like, a guard, maybe 2 wings that you swap in just to give your starters a spell. Mm-hmm. Because the amount of minutes played can really take a toll on people's body. And it's become something in the NBA where you have starters sitting maybe like 15% of the games in the season just to make sure that they don't get hurt and they're also ready for the playoffs.
Okay.
Losing Kyrie Irving, that dude is a wizard with the basketball.
Right. So what I'm saying, though, what we're saying, though, is it a soft move or a boss move on Kyrie's part?
It's a gamble.
Ooh, a throwback. Ooh, a third option.
Okay.
It's a gamble because, you know, like, I get it, like, him forcing the trade because it was contract negotiations and the Nets were, like, flaky on, like, oh, well, I mean, you did sit out half of a season because you wouldn't get vaccinated, and you got suspended for tweeting out anti-Semitic shit earlier this season.
Yeah. So we
and you didn't want to go to the bubble when we were in the playoffs, and like,
so we taking all of that Kyrie controversy into play.
The Nets are when they're talking about a contract extension.
We are because we're talking about a trade.
So Kyrie forcing his way out. The thing is, this is probably the lowest his trade stock has ever been. Mm-hmm. Well, A, we don't even know if Kyrie is going to re-sign with the Mavericks in the first place. But second, he is on an expiring deal, and you're trading two starting quality, or at least rotation quality players for the most mercurial superstar in the entire league, and something that won't pay off until 6 years from now. Do you think Luka only needs Kyrie to win the title?
That's what we're asking you.
I don't think so.
Well, it's like, so he said it's a gamble.
It's
so
a gamble because...
a gamble.
Right. I'm putting him
Kyrie,
under pressure because I wanted to explain.
So he's...
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He's betting on he's betting on himself. Can he stay out of not trouble but controversy for the rest of the season?
That's
and
been
how
his
does
main
he
issue.
perform in the playoffs?
That's been his main issue.
Because the goal here, no other team can offer him more money than the Mavericks now.
And if it wasn't for the controversy, what would his stats look like?
If it wasn't for the controversy, he'd still be in Brooklyn.
So, with that being said, is this trade a soft move or a boss move on Kyrie's part? Do you think the Mavericks are willing to put up with his controversy more than the Nets were?
I think it's a soft move.
Soft move.
Because of KD. KD went to Brooklyn because Kyrie was like, let's go to Brooklyn. I think it's a soft move because it really leaves KD high and dry, and I think like that's 3 years out of your prime. Like that's 3 years out of your prime. And I mean, granted, they were a shoe size short of making the conference finals. Because you might have both seen it, the buzzer beater that KD hit against the Bucks to send them in overtime. But if it was literally about an inch over the line, maybe less than an inch, that made it a 2 instead of a 3. And I mean, if they win a championship that year, the entire narrative is different.
How do you feel about the people who are like KD is just like a team hopper anyway?
So they traded for James Harden based off of what KD said. James Harden got disenfranchised because Kyrie sat out half the fucking season.
So you feel like the team that KD was trying to build fell apart because of Kyrie, and now Kyrie is jumping ship,
leaving KD high and dry, yeah.
No, it makes sense to me. I don't know much basketball, but I know about bitches. I mean, it sounds like to
and
me.
You feel like that's some bitch shit that Kyrie did?
Like, are you telling me, like, running the full timeline, player A was like, hey, I'm at this team, get paid, get your friends, like, come to this team. Yeah. Cool, I'll jump ship. We can do numbers.
I will say that it is definitely money over homies here. Because if he's just not getting the extension, and that's the thing, and he's like, fuck you, KD, I don't care.
So it's like, so now we have Kyrie and KD running the block on the Nets, and then Kyrie decided to have an opinion about vaccinations and thinking that it's a hoax. I'm assuming that's why he got set out half a year.
Yep. He couldn't play home games because of a New York City mandate.
Yeah, because New York's epicenters.
Right.
All of them. So,
and he didn't want to vaccinate.
he didn't want to vaccinate. So, yeah. So now you're benched because A, you think that it's still a hoax, despite the fact that millions of people are still dying. And 2, selfishness. So now you decided, oh, it's been time. I've waited, and I'm going to go to this team that not only promised me money, but also placement in the next 4 years, regardless of where I'm at.
Because the Nets did sign him to a 4-year max contract the last time he was a free agent.
Right. And you're saying his current contract is expiring.
Yeah, he is a free agent at the end of this year. He wants to get an extension from the Nets.
Right. Which proves probably not going to happen. So now,
Well, I mean, he got traded, but he's already traded.
right.
Like, he got traded like 3-4 hours before we started recording.
Right. So now it's like, so now he's on this. So now the Mavericks are like, yeah, we'll take you in.
He got traded so quick that Bill Simmons couldn't release an emergency pod for the trade request.
This man could not upload hard enough. We need to upload!
Right. I typed in Kyrie trade request on YouTube, and it's all these like third-party YouTubers using like thumbnails of like Stephen A. and Woj, because ESPN hadn't fucking caught up with the fact that he was traded.
Damn. So yeah, I think it's also a soft move for Kyrie.
Soft move.
I understand anti-vaxxers as somebody who actually had to deal with one, because they think that autism is mental disorder. So,
without getting into all of that, I feel like it's a boss move for Kyrie, dog. Like, I feel like him in the middle of the fucking season being like, you know what? I don't want to be here no more. Move me.
Boss move.
Right?
While Kevin Durant is injured.
You gotta feel like he has to feel like he's got some shit to offer, right? So I'm saying from his perspective, it's a boss move. And then to get traded in a day, right? Like, I know some people are like, oh, the Nets just don't want to deal with the controversy of having Kyrie.
The other theory is the Mavericks already had back-channeling conversations with Kyrie's team.
Yeah. Obviously. I feel like that.
See,
totally
when he announced his
is...
trade request, the favorite to get him was the Lakers.
Right. Yeah, because he had even posted that little meme of him in the children's drawing in the Lakers jersey, right? And so everybody thought he was going to go join LeBron, right? But him going to the Mavericks is really like Kyrie saying, I can build my own franchise.
You want to know what's really funny?
What I'm saying to Kyrie is, if you really bout that,
you would have done it in Boston.
Ooh, I was gonna say put your balls on the table and do it with Luka then, right? Like, cause that's what you have to do now. If
he's playing second fiddle, he had a shot at the alpha dog in Boston.
If you want to make this the boss move that you think it is, Kyrie,
win the title.
It's too late for that.
no,
it's not. Not even the All-Star break, which is really awkward because he's a starting point guard for the Eastern Conference.
We'll check back at the All-Star break and see if I was correct in saying it's too late for that.
I do want to say what's hilarious. About 20 minutes ago, LeBron James tweeted, "Maybe it's me."
And on that note, I think it's time for a break.
We're talking about responsibility for your actions, you know, with Kyrie and with Ted Cruz.
Ted the Fed.
Talking about responsibility and talking
Susan.
about your actions for your responsibility.
Susan.
Let's talk about how our president of the United States cannot.
Biden.
Brandon.
Cannot keep his shit together when it comes to paperwork.
Nobody can. Maybe it comes with the office.
You know, my dude.
Did we really expect that Biden
I met the man.
Would not forget some shit at his
all
house.
people. Now, I saw a post that was like, if we're going to talk about dementia, we cannot ignore Donald. Right? Because Donald was exhibiting traits of dementia way before Biden came on the scene.
I mean, to
Not
be fair.
way before Biden came on the scene.
No,
right?
he was
But,
on the
like,
scene. He just
'cause
wasn't front stage.
Biden has always exhibited traits of dementia, dog.
I mean,
like,
Trump might just be cocaine withdrawal.
no, like, dude,
He
like,
just shit himself.
even in the, like, 70s, in the 80s, Biden got caught up in this whole scandal where he was claiming he went to colleges he wasn't accredited to go
Oh, God,
to.
no.
Oh, that's some George
DeSantis
Santos.
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, no, but Biden did that, and is now president. I turned.
Are
to
you
look
ready?
at-
Are you ready for President Santos in 30 years?
I turned to look at the camera like
Hey,
the camera's still on.
Hey, you know, I'm totally fine having a drag queen as president. That's progress.
Hey, look, no, okay, hold on, 'cause he's not wrong though. He's not wrong though. George Santos.
It took a Republican. It took a Republican. He's not certified court of RuPaul. But a person of the night. The person. I want to have fun for a night.
An amateur drag queen.
An amateur drag queen decides to join it.
Brand for the look. So hold on. My main question is.
I'm just burping. Good.
You're good. The camera's not on.
Okay.
So, my main question to you, as a member of the LGBTQ community,
Just call the Baltimore Commission of Gay Rights Movement.
the Baltimore Commission of Gay Rights,
Yes, that is my official title.
Does this make the Republican Party progressive? Because they accidentally a fucking drag queen while they are currently trying to ban
Books.
fucking drag queens from reading books to kids.
Which also books are being banned because
Of-
we critical race theory.
The whole okay, so
We're gonna read the seminal work of Mark Twain, Tom Sawyer.
we recently talked about Florida and how they banned the AP African American history
Did you
studies.
see the clapback from the College Board?
So, but the college board just recently restructured the curriculum of that program in ways that kind of suit the things that Ron DeSantis was claiming were issues, which was the queer and LGBTQ friendly studies into African American history as far as this course was concerned, right? So with that
So wait, the
being
college
said,
board was like, "There's too much gay shit."
No, Rob
no.
said there's too much,
Ron
and then
said there's too much gay shit, and the college board said, okay, maybe there's a little bit too much gay shit, right?
the College Board was like, "Oh, we can try to do something."
It's like gay shit shark.
It back. We can dial it back a little bit, right? So they made some of the course material non-mandatory, and they made it more suggestive reading and things like that. I don't have the article up in front of me, unfortunately. I did read it, but I don't have it up in front of me in order to quote. But I do know that they have restructured their course curriculum based on some of the complaints, and they won't say that it has anything to do with Florida. But what I will say, though, is that it does feel like it has a lot to
Do with Florida. I am just saying this. If you are the president of the United States, and I met you, hey Biden,
Shout out to Biden.
I met you when I was 16, and you were a lot younger at the time.
Right.
Did not
senile.
did not have all the gray hairs that you have, but
No.
He's got full-on white hairs.
Yeah.
he is Magneto.
He's not, right. He's not even Silver Fox. Right. Like, no, it's perfect to call him Magneto because sometimes Biden does shit. Right, like earlier, they were asking
But he's
him...
not a Holocaust survivor, which is integral to Magneto's character, and you cannot separate it from him as a
But
character.
earlier,
because
they
it
were
actually
asking
shapes
him
his
about the
ideology.
economy, right? They asked him about the economy earlier this week. And they were like...
Lives matter.
How do you feel...
Live.
How do you feel about the job market, right, in its current state? They were like, do you feel like you should take responsibility for the job market in its current state? And he was like, do you not remember I inherited this job market? Like, I'm sorry. He's like one of the first presidents I feel like who's ever been like, hey yo, hold on. Let's not pretend like I didn't walk into this shitstorm, my nigga. Like, you can call me senile.
It's 2 years.
All you want.
No, yeah, 2 years just passed.
You can call me senile all you want, but this is the shitstorm I was handed. I'm doing the best I can.
So, the thing is, but how does that interact with you not being able to keep your documents in a publicly fashioned order?
So
You have a staff that works for you,
Multiple staffs.
and your wife is a doctor.
So do you care, Zig, do you care to explain or elaborate on what TK is insinuating here?
Also, like Trump, Biden was found to have classified documents at his house, a substantially smaller amount with not top secret and classified labels, but still
Classified.
He shouldn't have had.
Leftover shit from the Obama days.
Yes.
Right.
And
Okay,
when
just
when
to clarify.
Obama was reached out for it earlier, he was like, "No, we sent everything to you."
Obese
is like, hell no.
Nah, nigga, what you playing with? Like, hey, yo, don't come over here with that bullshit. Me and Michelle chilling. Like, don't even fuck around.
Our daughters are adults.
Right. So with that being said, Biden, who is clearly slipping into his senile days, and that's no
in his
disrespect.
80s.
That's no disrespect.
You're in your 80s.
Right, like even I, who is, as a hardened Bernie supporter, is hearing, murmurs of him running again. I'm like, dog,
My dude.
nah, pick somebody else, right? And it's like I wanted it for Bernie. I wanted that for Bernie. Like, I love that for Bernie. Like, I love that for America, right? Like, Bernie deserved that. First of all, Bernie deserved it. Second of all, America. Really, with all the anti-Semitism, do you know how much it would have been funny to have an old Jewish man
To have an
balance in the
old,
books?
secular Jewish man.
Balance in the books, right? Like, it literally would have been like the South Park episode.
We would have gotten another Harry Potter novel.
It would have been like the South Park episode where Kyle, like the Margaritaville episode where Kyle, like, took on everybody's debt.
Yeah.
Like, Bernie was willing to do that. In America, and the Democratic Party said,
No.
nah. I don't think that's necessary.
Because you know why? Because the old Democratic Party is still a bunch of white people.
Yeah,
still bunch of their ways.
Yeah, it is.
And now Pete Buttigieg.
To be fair, one thing about Pete. Hey, Pete, I hope you're watching this. I really appreciate all your clapbacks, especially on the Fox and Friends segments when they come after you, your husband, or your work because you're gay. Class, just all of it.
Okay, so I do feel like we have to at least mention it, considering we have been putting it off for now 2 weeks. Justin Roiland and his lawsuit
There's a lawsuit?
Well, against him for domestic assault.
Oh.
I didn't know
Also,
there was a
now
lawsuit.
alleged text messages to minors, fans of the show.
Oh, come on, dog.
This is-
Adult Swim has already removed
give
him
them-
from the show and said that season 7 through 10 will continue. And people are like, who are you going to get to voice Rick and Morty? And everybody's response is, have you been on the internet?
Right, you can just literally, you can
Chris
literally
Pratt.
Literally anyone that does a fucking Rick and Morty impression.
go on TikTok. Go on
Chris
TikTok.
Pratt.
Go on TikTok.
When the right is constantly screaming that Hollywood is full of child molesters, it's one thing that Justin Roiland was beating his wife, which I know is a don't interrupt me because I have to
I need to
clarify
clarify
this. I know it's a wild statement to say. I know it's one thing that a dude is abusive to his wife, right? Because it's not.
Oh, you mean Dana White?
Who then turned around and opened up a league where the whole point is to slap your opponent.
We will get to that in the next episode, but not this episode.
In the next episode. But in this episode, we're talking about Justin Roiland and how it's not cool that you can portray a drunk, egotistical, like megalomaniac scientist genius, and then also beat your wife. Like, there were rumors going around that you drank Hennessy and then went in the studio and improv Rick, and then it turns out that you beat your wife. Like, I'm in the camp.
I'm here for the Hennessy improv.
All right.
Like, that's probably led to some of the best Rick moments.
I'm in the camp of, did we really think the dude who was improving Rick Sanchez was not beating his wife?
Is this the Johnny Depp scenario again? We're talking about a guy who spends $20,000 a month on wine. Do you think he's not going to be problematic at times?
Once again, I would like to point out that he blamed that all on Amber Heard, and there's no way that one woman of Amber Heard's size is drinking $20,000 of wine by herself.
Counter, Amber Heard's book club.
It's just so fucking disappointing.
So here's the thing.
Like,
I don't know all the facts yet because not all the facts were presented. Everyone's been saying hearsay and accusations. And to be fair, we have... To be fair, we've had numerous stories that a male figure that was blamed because of a female's involvement, and then it got dissolved or a settlement. And the male, aka Johnny Depp, that's the high-profile case because because did you know, fun fact, the court case was held in Virginia.
Actually, this is also very relevant.
Yes.
This week, Amari Stoudemire, former NBA player, had those charges against him.
Yeah.
To which he was like, "No, go through full trial."
Yeah.
And every charge was dropped.
No, okay, so it's not to say that there aren't false accusations being thrown about, right? But what I'm saying is the prevalence of which these high-profile cases, right? And these dudes who portray these incel icons, right? Because, like, let's not front about it. Rick Sanchez, if not Justin Roiland, is an incel icon.
Yep.
Right? And then for it to turn out that CP is also included in this whole catastrophe is just the fucking, like, cherry on top of all of this conservative Hollywood is corrupt nonsense.
Well,
right?
I'm going to echo something that we said before. Allegations and accusations should always be taken seriously.
Right.
But also, it is innocent until proven guilty.
Right.
Tory.
Tori just went on there and was like, basically, I fucking did it.
Yo,
I
but
was just drunk.
No, Tory went on.
Tory went on there with
and
a
was
bang.
like, I did it, but also What you gonna do about it? Maybe I did shoot that bitch in the feet.
Isn't he getting time for it?
That's my point. He bounced back and forth in between I shot that bitch in the feet to I didn't do shit to that bitch to she shot herself in the feet to somebody else shot her in the feet.
And the baby just be sitting on the sideline like,
I fucked Megan too. Like,
I fucking Megan too.
But in this case, Justin Roiland, however, has stepped in a whole bag of dog shit.
He is a hot seat. Very much hot seat.
Yeah, because, like...
I'm now concerned, Morty. Who's gonna voice me next season, Morty?
Right, right.
How are we gonna get all of the other Ricks to be voiced by somebody else, Morty?
You know what? TikTok. There's so many TikTok impersonators out there that are unutilized.
It's literally going to be effortless for them to replace
could you
Rick
imagine
or
there be a
Morty.
TikTok episode?
It'll be fucking Seth.
Adult Swim, hire us. It's going to be the episode, the first episode, where all of the different Ricks are different voice actors impersonating Rick, and they all go through like a TikTok screen
Who's
where it's
gonna
just
be
like,
the new
nope,
Rick?
Marty, not good enough. He doesn't have my burp quite on time.
You know who it's gonna be? Fucking Seth MacFarlane.
No.
Okay,
I imagine he
alright.
has a hell of a Rick impression.
Yeah,
But
mark my fucking words, dog.
Do you think Adult Swim would write that check?
From Stan Smith.
You think he really would?
From
Do you
Peter
think
Griffin to Stan Smith to Rick Sanchez.
I don't think he has the Hispanic racism in his voice.
Do you really?
I mean, Justin Roiland can just be, tried and true. Who else have
Does he
other
really make fun of the fact that his last name is Sanchez that much?
I remember one episode he did, but maybe it's just me just thinking about it. Justin Roiland, hi, if you're watching this. I hope that your litigation is strong.
Don't hire Amber Heard's lawyer.
This is okay. So this is gonna be a real deep cut, and I don't know if either one of you two will get this reference. Right, this whole Justin Roiland thing feels like the Dormtainment scandal, and I don't know if you know Dormtainment, right? They were an internet comedy collective on YouTube during, like, I would say, like, the burgeoning days.
Oh, so Wild Wild West.
Yeah, like
where you could watch porn on YouTube. Yeah.
No, I would say it was at the beginner of the MCM days, right?
Okay.
Like,
yeah.
YouTube
And
was
Miss
getting
Cinema.
Google money
Face
and shit.
Days.
But they were a black comedy collective, right? And they had this this member named Tay, who was an integral part of their collective, right? Like, they used to have like a lot of musical based skits, and Tay would do like a lot of the engineering and the producing for their musical based skits. Tay got caught on camera beating his pregnant wife or his pregnant girlfriend, and was rightfully, abruptly disbanded from the group.
Yeah.
Right? And it feels like that. Right, like this whole Justin Roiland thing, I guess, has more PR than the whole Tay thing, right? Because it was just like one day Tay wasn't in the skits anymore, and you kind of had to be like, "Hey, yo, what the fuck happened to Tay?" Right?
Kind of like what I had to do with Jalen and Jacoby.
Yeah, no, much worse than that, right? Because then you didn't get to see fucking Jacoby
beating his wife.
And a fucking
Jacoby
cafe.
beating his black wife.
Right. Yeah, exactly. No, this was much worse than that. And in Justin Roiland's case, we don't have video footage, thank God. Fucking Rick Sanchez beating his wife. I sometimes feel like it's not so random when you like think of the character of Rick Sanchez, and I'm just like, I feel like Rick has like slapped a bitch in the Sean Connery sense of the term, and I know I'm gonna catch some flack for saying slapped a bitch. It's not funny. It's not.
You know what?
funny.
Everything that Justin Roiland does is not normal, which is just another reminder that none of this is normal. But what should be normal
Is
is buying all of your Pokemon Flesh and Blood, Magic the
Ad plug.
Gathering, Yu-Gi-Oh,
Ad plug.
card game supplies,
Ad plug.
board games at TokenMTG.com
Ad
and
plug.
use the promo code Ziggy. You can get 10% off of your order.
with this ad plug.
Also, we have a Discord, and we have a Patreon,
And we have a Twitch.
and do the like and subscribe, and do the whole thing like we all know.
Oh wait, cameras aren't on.
Yeah, I was doing
sorry.
the hand gestures and trying to be engaging, but y'all have been
follow
media
us
trained long enough.
At the Flood Pod on everything.
Do all of the things that hit the algorithm.
And that's on everything.
Everything.
And you can follow TK at.
Crashable at YouTube.
And with that being said, we'll see y'all next week.
Y'all fucking crazy as shit.
Deuces.
Man.
Deuces.
I put up with this shit.
Look, it's a flood. It's flood. It's flooding.
Get away.
Quick, we need to get to higher ground.
Open the floodgates.
Wait, why can't we talk about
It
black
is
stuff?
time to